Is that okay?
A little bit higher.
Just a little bit higher.
Who's going first?
Am I going first?
Do you want to?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Well, I remember. You were beautiful. You were lovely. You were such a peaceful baby. And your mom, oh God, she was so excited. She was so in love with you. She couldn't take her eyes off you. And I don't blame her.
I remember the first time I remember seeing you, like, my first memory of you. I was at, I think, a festival with you, and I spilled my food on, like, my lap, and you were the first one to notice and get me something to clean it up.
I remember. I think that was your clumsy season, but you got over it quickly. Well, I see your youth, innocence, freedom. I mean, I've watched you grow. I was absolutely captivated by you. Your smile was just bright and beautiful, and your eyes were just so glorious. I mean, I remember like it was yesterday.
I think you were really high up in, like, society, and your status was really high.
Yes, you don't come from a lot, but you have a loving family, and Joseph, whom you're betrothed to, is someone you've known, someone that's been around your life. So he hasn't got a lot, but he wasn't a complete stranger.
Everyone looked up to you. You have everything you could ever need. You have food on your plate. You have a roof over your head, and everyone respected you. You know, no one kind of looked down at you, from what I gathered.
I've had a serious life, a privileged life, but I've always been constrained by my position, by the rules of our faith, by people's expectations of me.
I was kind of looked down on, in a way, by, like, society, and because of how young I was, I didn't have the experience in life. You had so much experience with everything.
So I've not known freedom, the kind of freedom you've had. I've had to always live by, you know, a high standard in morals or ethics or our faith. And I can't let myself go in the way that you do. And I've also had the added issue of being respected and loved. But there's certain doors that are closed to me because I haven't had children. So I sit with women and mothers, and there is a conversation we can have. But when it comes to babies, I can't speak about having children. And that's when the conversation runs away from me.
Like, you're a priest's wife. I was married a carpenter. You know, there's nothing extraordinary about that.
So I envy your youth and your beauty. Yeah. Well, as you know, I waited decades for a child. And then this one day, Zechariah had been serving at the temple, and he came back home excited, but not able to speak. And he was just trying to say to me something important, and I was trying to understand him, but he was laughing, he was weeping. I couldn't make out exactly what he was saying, but he said he saw something from heaven, someone from heaven, and that person said to him that I was going to have a baby. I was so overjoyed, and I was scared at the same time. And he wrote his name down and said he would be called John.
Oh my word, I can't even remember what I was doing. The whole day just went by so fast after that. I turned around, and suddenly this angel, this massive glowing being, was in my living room, and I was like, how long have you been stood there? You know, I was so shocked and scared and absolutely amazed at the same time. I'm here to tell you that you're going to have God's child, and people are going to call him the God Boy, something like that.
Yeah.
And that was going to be his nickname. And I was like, that was nothing like my school nicknames.
Along those lines.
But I'm 15, you know, how is this gonna happen? Me and Joseph have never been together. And then he turns to me and he says, Mary, Elizabeth is also having a baby. Oh my word, if this can happen to her, this can happen to me. It was so scary leaving home for the first time alone. I've travelled before, but always with my family. But this time it was leaving my friends, my family, you know, everything I've ever known behind.
So amazing to see you, and something absolutely phenomenal happened. As soon as I laid my eyes on you, the baby within me just leaped in joy. He was so happy to see you as I was. My heart was filled with such joy.
But to see you, it filled me with so much hope for this period of our lives.
And I felt so honored that you, the mother of my Lord, would come to see me.
And when I walked through that door and I saw you, the Holy Spirit was in your eyes.
Yes.
He was in your soul. He was in my eyes and my soul.
Yes. I was so overwhelmed with joy. I mean, the most highly favored woman to ever be created was my cousin. And then you'd come to see me.
And knowing we were going through the same thing and that the Holy Spirit was still woven in our lives together.
Yes.
Oh, and I remember you burst into song. When I walked through that door, it was like the most beautiful melody I've ever heard in my life.
It was a beautiful song. Yes.
And he brought us together.
So much has changed. I see you as a woman with a purpose, a woman of destiny, to birth and look after the King of Kings. What an honor, yet what a responsibility. And I am happy for you, excited for you, but concerned for you, because I know that a lot of people won't understand. They'll look at you and just think you were with someone that wasn't Joseph. But you will know the truth, and I will know the truth.
And I think the way I used to see you was that everyone looked up to you and your life had no flaws. But now I realize, having had this child and the slight shade of shame that has come with it, because people now see me as the girl who got pregnant not by her husband. It's like I understand that shame now, and the fact that all eyes are on you. I now know how hard that is, and I am so proud that you have come through that.
Well, what a journey. I've had an interesting life, very challenging, and I've spent majority of those years with people but isolated from them. But my strength has been my faith in the Lord.
I think because of how much I've matured and how much I've learned from this whole experience and kind of episode of my life, I think I've grown to learn to trust God and kind of ignore what other people say. And so when people are talking about you behind your back, or they're saying, oh, she's the one of this, she's the one of that, just don't listen to them, because the creator of the universe knows the truth about you. You know the truth about you. And if the worst comes to the worst and it's just you and him, what is so bad about you and the creator of the universe being best friends?
Absolutely. I have gone through seasons of longing hoping, dreaming for a baby, seasons of absolute shame, seasons of hope that, oh, maybe it's this month, and then it's not. And I gradually got to a point where I had to surrender to God's will. And that is the best place to be. When you're waiting on the Lord for something, surrender, trust Him, and as much as possible, wait in joy. You can wait in misery, but you can choose to wait in joy, believing that the Creator of the universe knows what you need and will bring it to you at the right time.